Hey guys, welcome back to Anything But Mute. I am your host Tanya. I have a special guest with me today. I have my friend. I'm gonna let him go ahead and introduce himself.
Well, my name is Mike. We've been friends
For a minute.
for a minute.
I don't
Yeah,
know how long
when
it's
you
been, but
started working at Banana.
yeah.
And,
Do you like Halloween?
yeah,
All random.
yeah,
Sorry to
yeah.
cut you off, but
Well,
do you like Halloween? You do.
hell yeah, I like
You do.
Halloween. You know, I
Because I
like.
think I remember when we were working, the people that stand out to me the most is like you and Jonathan for always talking about some crazy shit. So I was thinking to myself, like, who can I invite that I know for sure is gonna have like some crazy story or like some weird shit, at the very least, some weird ass shit. And then I thought about you and Jonathan. I was like, I'm gonna have them come, but of course he
I
couldn't be
know my
here.
novio
But
couldn't come
your
in.
novio
I
couldn't
know
be here.
my other half.
If he did, you guys should have dressed alike, or not
Uh,
alike, but like
somewhat similar.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like you
cause
know how they have thing one, thing two, or something like that. That would
what
have been.
Tweedledee and Tweedledoo.
But okay, so last episode we talked a little bit about like the dark web, and then like
Oh, I got stories
just
about
like
that.
some scary shit that has happened. You know, like for example, my mom told me about a story where she heard like footsteps in her house and just little stuff like that, like paranormal stuff.
Mhm.
How are you as far as the paranormal? Like, have you had anything that crazy happen to you?
That and worse. I mean, I don't know if you remember the stories I used to tell Banana. Like, I think personally, all through my life, I'm not saying there's something attached to me, but there is
Some
something in my
energy.
house. Yeah, there is three things in the house that are like, it's two men, and there's an entity built off of negative energy.
How do you know
And
they're men?
we had like this lady come in, and we
Okay.
also had a priest, and
Mm.
they came bless the house and stuff. And the lady told us there's two men buried under a house. It is by my dad's bedroom closet, and I hate that room. Like, I hate it. No one likes that room. It's
Yeah.
just very creepy. It's just weird. And then
Yeah.
my grandma's closet, which is now my brother's, we cut open a wall, and
Mhm.
so it's connected. My grandma's house and ours. My great grandma's room. There's another guy dead, buried under there because that house was built in like the 1700s, 1800s. So it's
Jeez.
a really old house.
Yeah.
And
So like you could bury people back in the day or what?
well, I
Like,
guess they
cause
just
if
died.
not, that's
I
some weird
guess they
shit.
just died in their house and they just wanted to be buried there, or something like that of that matter.
Would you want to do that? I wouldn't. I'd do that with my dogs, but
I mean, I would like to die in my house. I wouldn't want to
but
die in
like buried under your house
if it's
or like
cheap.
on your land.
If it's cheap for my kids or whoever I go with, yeah.
I guess it's how would it's because I just don't see how would you do that? Like you would go and tell them at the morgue, like, hey, because wouldn't you like let's just say you died, you had a heart attack, you died in your house. Now what? Like you just bury the person? Like doesn't it start to smell or something? Don't they have to like?
I used to like wrap them up and then just like dig a hole.
Okay,
Maybe
I don't
like
know.
that.
I don't know, but I heard.
I guess like that. I mean, back then, they didn't. I guess
That's crazy.
coffins are expensive, but yeah.
Oh,
Um,
okay. So then they told you that that there was
yeah.
another man buried there.
There's a two man, and there's a entity built off of negative energy. There's like, I wouldn't necessarily. I guess you could say it's like a portal. It's an
Mhm.
opening of a spirit of negative energy,
Mhm.
and it's. I mean, I'm not gonna say my household is perfect. Obviously, I went through tough times. As everybody does as kids
Yeah.
or whatever. You know,
Mhm.
things happen, and it came off of that.
Yeah.
And I have two stories about the house. One of them,
Crazy.
I mean, I have so many that I wish I could tell, but one of them that stuck to me the most was
What's like? Let's start with the scariest one.
the scariest one.
Mhm.
So last year, when I was with 2 years ago, 3 years ago, not last year, it was around the time of when I was working at BJ's,
Okay.
and I remember this one day I was asleep in my bed. So the way it is my bed, the TV's in front. I sleep in the living room, the
Okay.
couch, and there's a large archway. For
Okay.
the computer room, you could go in there, you can see my brother's room and stuff, and then the kitchen.
Mhm.
I remember I was asleep, and I hate sleeping up because I always get sleep paralysis. It
Yeah.
always happens when I sleep while facing upward.
Because that's the only way it happens.
Yeah,
I read on it.
yeah. It like, I guess it opens yourself up, or it's the most vulnerable or
Yeah.
some shit
Also,
like
I've
that.
heard like that spirits, like your body is vulnerable to spirits, like somehow sucking your energy,
Yeah,
right? That's crazy,
And
actually.
your chances of lucid dreaming, that used to happen to me a lot too when I was a kid. Is
Yeah.
lucid dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
Your chances are higher. And I remember I was asleep. I'm laying down. I'm resting. And on my bed, it's made the wood. It's like a wooden frame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sleeping and it starts shaking
Like an earthquake.
yeah, like an earthquake.
Oh no.
And I swing up and I remember like what the hell is like going on here? Like
But like, what did you think? Earthquake?
I thought it was earthquake at first because like
Right.
my bed was just shaking.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed it was still shaking while I was awake, and I was just like, "Nah, this ain't no earthquake. Like the TV's not moving, the computer chair's not moving,
Mm-hmm.
so it's the fucking
Something shook
ghost,
me. Yeah,
yeah."
yeah.
And it stops, and I'm kind of
That's
like,
crazy.
okay. And I hear three knocks. So right next to me is my closet where I have all my hoodies. I hear three knocks hard, like
On the closet.
on the closet, like so. It's just a
Yeah.
wall, and then it's a closet right there. I
Mm-hmm.
hear three knocks hard. Again, three knocks, and I'm just like, oh, fuck, man. Like this thing does not want to
Like it
let me
wants you
sleep.
to
Yeah,
open the door.
like it wants me. There's no door there. It's
Oh,
just
it
a
just wants you to
closet.
go towards the closet then. Maybe.
I don't even know, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it was just scaring the shit out of me because I was already scared.
Oh fuck, let me get scared.
There we go. We have that. So.
Oh my god, I got scared. Damn, Dad.
So I'm asleep. I'm trying to fall asleep, and it just keeps shaking my bed. This thing does not want me to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I get up and I start recording. I even have pictures of it.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm awake. I'm recording, and on the camera you see like this weird like color like appear,
Mm-hmm.
and then it appears. You could see its face. Like
For
I have it
real?
right here and there.
That's
And
crazy.
when I recorded it, you could see when I get scared because it's literally right by my bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I got scared shitless because I'm just like, dude, what do I even do?
Right. And it's
What,
crazy because it's like you know how in the movies it always like portrays a spirit or a ghost to like trying to send a message or trying to tell you something like, hey, I'm still hanging out because I want you to figure out something.
so in the video, like you can see on my bedside, like,
Oh snap.
and I screenshotted it, and you could see.
Yeah, for sure.
You could see the head,
Mm-hmm.
the face, the nose.
And so when it just goes like that means you took a picture of it at that moment or what?
I just caught it on video.
Oh, that
I
was just a video.
Yeah, it was
like,
just a video of me like trying to record, and I was just like, you know what? Let me see if I could capture it. And I
that's
did,
crazy.
and I think I pissed it off. I think it
With that.
yeah, with that because it did not let me sleep at all. It kept
Yeah.
shaking my bed every time I would try to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I turned the light on. I left it on. I fell asleep for a little bit, and I started getting cold sweats in my sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember waking up and seeing in the archway, it was standing right there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's this tall black figure.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the shape of a man, but you can't see through it. It's just swirls. It's just dark swirls. I remember I was just like, man, this thing is.
And you didn't tell your family or like do they know?
I told them. I mean, they all know like shit happens like that. And I remember my dad came in the living room when I left the TV on. And I guess he just knew something was wrong, and he came up to me. He's like, "Is everything fine?" And I was just like, "Yeah." And he's just like, "Just making sure."
Mm.
But a piece of me felt like I guess like a dad sense, like nah, something's not right. But I remember like that was probably
Dude, that's crazy. I would have not been able to sleep.
I did not sleep.
I would have been like, fuck, I'll go sleep under the bridge, bro. Like
I stayed up the whole night, and I slept in like around like 11 p.m. the next morning. I was just like, I'm not gonna sleep right now. I'm gonna sleep when everyone's awake and the lights are out.
Yeah, for sure. That's crazy, dude.
That was the craziest thing. Like I've seen it multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen all three, and they all look very different. But one of them's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have a really negative energy. One of the man, he has like a very uncomfortable. He makes himself uncomfortable, and you just feel the negativity rating off of it. I'm not gonna say it's a demon or anything like that, but another entity made out of negative energy. You could feel it, like it makes you sick. It like drains you.
So after they did the cleaning in your house, even then it's still there?
It's still there. It just doesn't leave. They don't want to leave, and I don't know if they have some personal attachment with us.
Right.
But it
Or
just
like the house,
the
maybe?
house. I just
Like
think
the
it's a
house.
house. At
Yeah.
this point, it's just a house, and I think that negative energy is attached to those two.
Have you ever like slept over somebody's house and then something happens to you then? So then it's the
It's
house.
the house. I mean, I've had encounters in every other houses. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying I have a. Well, no, I guess yeah. I guess I could have a third eye. I could sense stuff. I could
Yeah, because I
see
have a
stuff.
friend. She was like that too. She said that she had this, so the way it happened to her, it would happen to her when she was sleeping. Like this, the same, I don't know if negative entity would come to her in her sleep. And she said it got to the point where one time she remembers she had a rosary. She grabbed the rosary and she just had it on her, and she was kind of like praying herself to sleep, and that she heard like a loud noise, right? And I woke her up again because she was able to go back to sleep with the rosary and stuff, and then it woke her up. And when she woke up, she was looking for the rosary and she couldn't find it. And her dog, because her dog sleeps with her, her dog was like like crying, and she was just like, what the fuck? But like, she's like, you know that cry when a dog gets hurt,
Yeah.
like that type of cry. So she's like, what the fuck? Like, I was looking for my dog and I was calling her name, and she wouldn't like show up. So then I looked under the bed and she was like crawling out from under the bed. And so then under the bed she saw the rosary, and she was like, what the heck? Like, I literally had it on me. So she said that she's had that entity like drag her, and that she went, I think she went with somebody that, or I don't know if it was like a family member or she went with somebody, but I remember she told me that they said that she was very vulnerable to the spirits, and that she had like an open portal to where like spirits were attracted to her. So maybe, I don't know if you would be the same.
Probably because I know my mom is. She
Mm-hmm.
has that same issue. Like my mom does, my middle brother, and me.
All of you
And
guys experienced
yeah,
it.
we all experience shit. Probably the worst ones is me and my mom. I'd say we're a little more closer to it
Mm-hmm.
because when I was small, I used to lucid dream a lot, and I never knew what lucid dreaming was until like later, and that's actually like really bad when you don't know how to control because
Mm-hmm.
you're opening yourself up and you don't even know it.
So can you die in a lucid dream?
You can't die, but it's a lot more easier for you to get. That's when it gets into like possessions and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I never knew that as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I never got taught it. Of course my
Yeah.
mom never told me any of this type of stuff. She tried to
Right.
like not shun it away, but like ignore it
Yeah.
because the same things used to happen to her. So I
Oh
guess I'm the one of
snap.
the unlucky ones out of the whole family. So like,
Bro.
but like there's been times where like I could go into someone's house, like one of my homies' house. I go in and I don't sense anything bad. And he's like, "Hey, bro, like I know you kind of have like connections with that type of shit. You think you can feel anything in my room or like in my house?" And I was just like, "Oh, you know what? Like, let me just test it. It's been
Shady
a
ass
while.
fools
Yeah,
using you for
yeah, I
your
know."
your third eye.
And I closed my eyes and like the way it just you just can feel it. And
Really?
I remember I closed my eyes and I pointed something in the room. I was like, "There's something right there." I was like, "But it's not bad. Like, it's radiating good."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, bro, I got scared that you said someone was dead." He's like, "No, that's the cross my mom gave me, and like she got it blessed." I was like, "Oh yeah, like I told you, like it's that
It's good
right then."
energy,
I
yeah.
literally pointed it out.
Mhm.
This is the first time I ever been to his house, and I was like, "It's nothing bad. It's just radiating good energy for
Yeah,
you."
yeah. That's crazy. So you can really feel like that? You can feel energy? But like energy in the room or energy in the people? Or both?
I guess kind of both. People
Yeah.
is a little more harder
Yeah.
because obviously I can't tell if someone's possessed or not. Like that's
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it
yeah.
gets into
No, but like can you
like sense ghosts and
yeah, like
stuff.
let's just say you came into the room today, right? And there was like me and like four other people. And you're just chilling, but like in the back of your mind you're like, okay, I'm getting negative energy from that guy over there for some reason.
Sometimes yeah,
You get that? Yeah. That's
sometimes yeah,
crazy.
and sometimes like if I go to like abandoned houses and stuff, I could sense like shit there.
Yeah.
And there's been times where like I get scratched, and I'm just like, dude, like it's just
That's
always been ever
crazy.
since I was small. It's just always
Yeah.
been the same like thing about me that's
So
just
are
been
you
a part.
like, at this point, are you like just, it is what it is?
It is what it is.
You're not scared anymore? Or you try not to be?
I mean, the more you're scared, the more you're prone to it. The more
Mm,
you show fear, the more they're attracted to it,
mm.
and they begin to fuck with you more and stuff like that. And
That's
you just can't show no
crazy,
fear.
bro.
even though sometimes it's hard.
Yeah.
Like I will admit there is times where like it is a little intense. Like I've been slapped in my sleep.
That. Oh, damn.
Yeah, yeah, like I've been slapped. I've had the covers pulled. I've been yanked out of my bed. I've
That's
had my hair
insane.
pulled. It's
Yeah, they're getting down with you. This
yeah,
one's getting down with you,
it's like you can't
literally.
even do anything, man. Like
This is
I
like
would,
body shots. Ta
yeah,
ta ta.
I would love to wrap my hands in like holy water, wrap gloves, and like throw
Right, let
hands
that
with this thing.
motherfucker burn.
Yeah, throw hands with it or something. But you can like
That's
the best you could
crazy.
do is just pray and hope it just stops fucking with you for a
Right.
day, 2 days, or even that hour.
Have you gotten like the Bible or something? Like
My mom
to
does
like.
it. She'll read the Bible. She'll clean the house and stuff with it, and she'll be drained for the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of do like I just hold my necklace and I just pray. That's all I
Gotcha.
do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because people are like, "Oh, you're a believer." Like, I never thought I would see you as like believing in God or like
Yeah.
Jesus and stuff. I'm just like, my thing is if there's negativity there, there's good out there too as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And
There's always good and bad, and even like I've been kind of like, not to get into that topic, but a little bit like I've been just on the same thing. Like I know God exists and everything like that, but I've never really like read the Bible and stuff like that, and I've been wanting to. But I feel like a lot of people, they're just like, it's either you're Christian or you're not Christian. But it's like, no, there's a lot of us in the middle that it's like, well, we believe there's good out there. We just don't know, because there's some Christian people that do the most. And it's like, okay, I'm not part of that group. I'm not doing the
yeah,
most.
you're like, I'm not that
But I'm not
extreme.
part of this group that says I don't believe in shit. Like I'm somewhere in the middle. So that's good that you do that. I mean, like if that's what makes you comfortable, you know. My mom had a friend and her daughter would see dead people. And that I think is like scary to
That's
like.
that's scary shit. That's the type of level my mom like. She's obviously more advanced with it.
Mm-hmm.
I could only see negative spirits that
Yeah,
manifest itself. I could feel
mm,
it and sense it. Sometimes I could even see it through its own eyes, which is weird.
that's crazy,
But I
bro.
can't see dead people. That for
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't. My mom can though because she always talks about my grandpa. Never was close with him.
Mm-hmm.
Never had a connection. We never had a connection with him.
Yeah,
And he'll appear here and there sometimes, apologizing to my mom and stuff like that. It's
that's
weird. It's
crazy.
weird.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
mean, it's crazy. I always thought like, why do certain people get chosen to have to go through that? Because like you said, it's not like you could just turn it off. It's just something that happens to you, and unfortunately, you have to just kind of like live with it. So what would be that was probably like the scariest one. So what would be like the most traumatic story you think you can recall?
traumatic, I would say, is when around 5 years old, my great grandma was still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Before we cut the house into like a converted like two house type
Uh-huh.
thing. In my great grandma's room, she would always sleep there. It was always dark in there. It just was an uncomfortable room. I remember,
And she was sleeping there like that?
yeah, she would.
Why? Pobrecita.
I don't even know. I can't even tell you. The times where she was alive when I was around. She was already suffering from dementia and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I couldn't even tell her like why she
Yeah.
slept like that. But I remember I was playing on my mom's computer. I was playing video games, and in the living room, my brother's right there, and my brothers. That's when they both used to sleep there. My older brother's on his phone. My middle brother's playing Grand Theft
Mm-hmm.
Auto when it just came out. I don't know which one it was. He's playing with
Yeah.
his friends. We're playing. It's about like 2, 3 in the morning, and we hear like loud bangs in my grandma's room. Like I'm talking like the house is shaking. But we all stare at each other like,
Right,
what the
like
fuck is
what
going
is she
on?
doing in
Yeah,
there?
what is she doing? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
is there like a great grandpa that we don't know about or something, you know? And
He's
we,
going to town
yeah,
with my
he's
grandma.
going to Pound Town with my grandma. Like, I'm like, damn, she getting it though. But it's loud bangs, and I hear my great grandma crying and praying,
Oh.
and the house, like her part of like the half house is right there shaking and banging. She's praying really loud. You could hear her like she's
Praying,
screaming
yeah.
it. And whatever this thing is starts speaking in tongues. It's cussing out her in English, it's cussing her out in Spanish, and it's cussing her out in some fucking language I can't even understand.
Oh
It's
my
speaking in
gosh.
tongues.
Yeah.
It's calling her a bitch. It's calling her a whore. It's calling her shit in Spanish, like fucking puta, like
What
all
in
that
the
shit.
world?
Yeah, it's
That's
cussing her
crazy.
out like bad, and
Yeah.
she's praying loud, and it's like banging the fuck out of the wall.
Yeah.
I was scared shitless. I ran to my older brother. I was scared because I was just like,
Right. Like, what do we do?
yeah, what do we do? What's going on? And I remember we're just all looking at each other, and it felt like hours that it was happening. It was probably 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it felt like hours for this
Mm-hmm.
was going on. And I remember I was just like, I'm 5 years old. I don't even know what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared someone's in the house trying to kill my grandma or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's like weird.
And it just stops. And we hear her like crying and still praying.
Mm-hmm.
It just completely stops. I remember I didn't even sleep that night.
That's
I remember
crazy,
I didn't even want to
bro.
go in that area of the computer room because I was so scared. Like,
Yeah.
it was scary. I gotta
That's
say that's one of the things that like stuck in my head ever since then. Like
yeah.
I have many other stuff, but that's one of them where
That's
it
crazy,
was really
dude.
bad. Yeah.
Woo! Have you? I think I asked you guys this question. I don't remember you and Jonathan. Did you ever play the Ouija board?
Fuck them.
Oh, you did it. I don't know why I thought you did.
No,
Was it because of that? Because like shit that had already happened to you that you didn't want to fuck with it? Because you're like the crazy type. Like
I'm
you
crazy,
like to
but
experience shit.
I do. But I think that's just opening yourself up to things you don't even understand.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh yeah, you could say like goodbye and stuff like that, but it doesn't work like
To like
that.
close it.
Yeah, you're opening yourself up to things we can't comprehend and handle. And
Yeah.
that's when possessions and stuff happen.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to do is get possessed or get one of my
For
family members
sure.
possessed, and it's kind of like you live with that for the rest of your life, and it never leaves you. Like
Right.
even if you get rid of it, like it's gonna stick with you.
That's why I'm like, so we talked about it a little bit on the last episode, but I was thinking to myself, like, why would they make these kind of boards? Because I remember them selling them at Toys R Us and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like normal and affordable and stuff. So I was like, okay. So then I kind of did some homework on it, and apparently they did it back in World War, I think it was one, that they used it to like uh communicate with like spirits and stuff like that. But like it was supposedly like so controlled back in the day that they didn't think it was like bad for us to experience it. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, I don't know who would have came up with allowing, even if let's just say it was controlled and it was good back in the day, like, right, like let's just say pure good spirits would get on the board. It's just like, still, why would you send it worldwide to like fucking Toys R Us at that, like a big company that's strictly for kids? Kids are not responsible enough or not mature enough to understand how to play the game. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, that's crazy, because I've read a lot of stories about that. A lot of people have opened the doors to like spirits following them, and now some people have killed themselves because of that. So I'm just like, dang, like,
I feel like it has to do with someone like I wouldn't say necessarily making a deal with the devil, but
mm-hmm,
doing some type of witchcraft shit where it's just like, you know what, let's open these people up to negativity and see who falls for it.
yeah,
And just kind of making like, you know what, yeah, there's good, but there's also bad, and just making it kind of deal like whoever plays it, you 50-50, you either get someone good or you get a demon that wants your soul.
that's crazy.
And then,
Especially like with the time now. Like back in the day, there wasn't like TikTok or nothing like that, so a lot of things won't go viral. And now we're having things where like a lot of TikTok challenges and stuff go viral, and kids want to try it and all that shit.
and they
So
don't even understand.
and they don't understand it,
Yeah.
and then they wonder why somebody died or something like that,
Or possessions.
or
Like,
possessions. Like,
possessions.
that shit is real. But you like scary movies, though, right?
Oh,
Okay, so how do you bring yourself to watch scary movies?
I don't know.
Like,
It's just cool.
how is that cool? I feel like I even ask him because he's like super into it. I'm just like, how do you guys do it? Like, how do you even sleep? Especially you, though. Like, you that you actually go through some of these things. So how do you do it to like go watch a movie and then come back? You're not thinking to yourself like, fuck, like this is gonna happen to me today,
I just don't think.
bro.
I mean, I just kind of think like it's a movie. It's just kind of like, oh, they kind of got this wrong.
But
But
some of the stuff happens to you.
I never really thought about it.
You know
But
what I mean?
either
Because it's like, yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. Like it's a movie and stuff. Like even with like horror nights and stuff like that. I don't do nothing like that. Nothing scary. But people are always like, why don't you go? Like it's just people. Like it's just costume. It's just people. It's just makeup. It's like, yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it. But in my mind, like as far as a movie goes, I think about it that it is a possible,
it's a possibility.
yeah, that somebody is gonna do that to me, like that somebody could be standing there or I see a shadow or some shit like that. Especially with paranormal activity, like those movies. I was like, oh no, you got me fucked up. Like I'm not doing that.
And I just guess it is like too. It's just like I was just always raised around horror movies ever since I
Hmm.
was small. Like my mom would put on Night of the Living Dead or Amityville Horror House and stuff like that. So it's even my grandma, she
That's
would put horror movies like fucking Al Charro, like stuff like that, and like
that's crazy.
scary Mexican movies and stuff like. Or like my dad will put like the Wolf Man. So it's kind of stuff that's just get kind
That
of
you
used to it.
guys,
Yeah, it's
oh
normalized.
no.
And like even going to Not Scary Farm or Horror Nights,
Uh huh.
like I love. I guess I just like being scared. I guess
Yeah,
I guess I just like it. Like I love going to Horror Nights. I like going to Not Scary Farms. I like going to houses that are haunted. It's just interesting, I guess, in a
that's
way.
crazy,
Like
bro. So has anything happened to you like at a haunted house, like no, abandoned house?
just one.
Mhm.
I just remember like I went with my mom and we were exploring like this old. It wasn't necessarily abandoned. I guess it was still a museum,
Mhm.
but there was a room that we went into that was abandoned, and it was a kids' room. And I remember we went in, and I remember my legs were like burning, like they were on fire. And I remember I was in the kids' room, and I just remember feeling like the air was really tight. I couldn't breathe, and I remember I told her I was like, I need to step outside, and I was like,
Mhm.
¿Qué pasó? And I walked outside, and she's like telling me in Spanish and stuff like, oh, like where you going? Like, are you fine? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And I remember I lifted up my jeans, and I had
Mhm.
deep claw marks all over my legs, but they were like the shape of like little kid fingers,
Mhm.
like little kid hands
Yeah.
with their nails like small like that. And I remember I was just like, dude, that's
Cause you were in a kids room.
yeah. I was in a kid's room and I was just like, dude, that's so weird. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think it was the kids scratching at my legs. I think it
Mhm.
was something playing as kids scratching the fuck out of me.
Mm.
And I remember we took pictures and we can't find that picture anymore. But
That's crazy.
that was probably like one of the things I had in an abandoned house.
That's crazy, dude. So have you ever had like a limpia? You know how they do like limpias on people?
I
Like they clean
have,
you
but
up.
that was years ago.
And did it work?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really tell you if it worked or not. Like, I feel like it does work. I feel it's better just to go to church and have a
Mm.
priest like bless me and put holy water on me and use the sage around me. Just because I know
Mhm.
their intentions are good. If I
Mhm.
kind of go to some random person, oh, you know what, clean me. I don't know if they got good intentions. I don't
Right.
know what they believe in. That's also
Mhm.
too another point because you could think, oh yeah, they
That's
have a
true.
picture of Jesus and the cross, which I learned today. They could believe in fucking I don't know some devil shit, and they put a curse on you or they attach
Yeah,
something to
that's
you.
crazy.
Because at least with the priest, I know like we have the same beliefs. We
Mhm.
may not have the same like structure and stuff, but we have the same beliefs and we have the same good intentions. I know when they bless me and I take that stuff, like
Mhm.
I feel better and like it
Right.
does
It
make me
makes your
feel.
spirit feel
Yeah,
better.
it makes you
Yeah.
feel a little bit better.
That's crazy, bro. Like I don't thank God. I haven't, let me knock on wood. I haven't had anything like that happen to me. Um I would say the scariest thing that has happened to me would probably be like I had like this guy like dressed as Michael Myers scare me. That's part of the craziest thing. But I I've had moments like when I think about it, like when I really sit down and think about it, I've had moments where I'm like, what the fuck was that? You know, like a noise or something. But I think like I always tell myself like, oh, it's like the wind or it's the door or like I always have a reason for it. You know what I mean? But I think I do that to protect myself. from
It's also better to do it. Like
getting
sometimes I
scared.
even ignore it. The more attention you give it to it, the more it
Mhm.
feeds off that attention.
Mhm. That's crazy, dude. Oh my god, I can't even.
And
When you told me I had stories, I was like, oh, I wasn't thinking like hardcore like
and
that.
and also too recently, what happened to me? Now we're speaking about satanic stuff.
Mhm.
I had a run in with. I don't want no shit, crazy shit. Some people come to your podcast, but I had a run in. I would say I strongly believe a satanic cult.
Mm.
And I remember at this time I was talking with this girl. I was real cool with her. You know, we're vibing. You know, it was recent too. We went out to go eat. We're driving around. We're driving around her neighborhood, and we're going out through Hollywood. And I'm driving. I don't even know where I'm going. I'm just kind of like vibing with her, like
You
just
guys
talking,
just cruising? Yeah.
pretending like I know what I'm doing. Driving around.
Yeah.
And I remember vividly, like there's this long street and it curves, and I'm driving. We're talking. We're laughing. And once I reached this curve, the energy changed. Like
Mm.
it was dark out. It was already nighttime, but it just felt even more dark. Like it just felt
Mhm.
even more
Like
darker.
there
Yeah,
when you got to that point.
that got to that point. Like
Yeah.
there was no headlights of other cars. There was nobody walking around. There was very little street lights. It just felt extremely dark, and there was just something odd. Like
And this was a block, like a
it,
regular block.
yeah, like a regular block. Like you know how
Okay.
Hollywood is. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
I
fucking
hate it.
weird. Yeah,
Like I hate the streets and shit.
and I'm driving. I don't even know where I'm at. I'm gonna be straight up. I got lost. I'm over here pretending like I know where the
Cause
fuck
you
I
have
am.
GPS, so you're
Yeah,
probably like, even if I do get lost,
yeah,
I'll
like,
fuck around and put it on GPS. Yeah.
and I'm driving, and we reach this house, and I turn my headlights off. He's like, oh, make it spooky,
Yeah.
And we reach this house, and there's a bunch of people. They're
Okay.
only dressed in very fancy suits, and the women are dressed in really nice dress.
Okay.
But it's all white people. There's no blacks.
Mm.
There's no Mexicans. I'm definitely sure there's no Asians.
Mhm.
It's just all white people because you could see their pale skin. They're all pale
Mhm.
white. And I'm driving through and I'm going slow.
Yeah, yeah. And you're like, oh, they're
And
having a party.
yeah, I'm like, oh, they're having a party. But when I look closer, they're all wearing masks. And they're only either wearing black, white, or red. And even the masks, they're either white, red, or black.
But like all white or all red, the mask.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like no expressions, no nothing.
Gotcha.
And they're all animal masks. They're all wearing it. The women are dressed in really nice dresses. They're all sparkly red, sparkly white and shit. And the men, same thing too. They're all in tuxedos.
Mhm.
They have like a little glass area, and you could see inside the party, and it's everybody. Nobody's showing their face. And I
Mm.
remember I was just like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I remember the girl got scared, and she started.
Wait, so how far of a distance were you guys to the house?
So I would say this is a car. That's a sidewalk. There's like a big patch of grass, and it's a long walkway that leads into the like a huge house.
Okay.
And there's men standing outside, and what's creepy is they stare at us, like looking at us in the car.
Mhm.
My windows are tinted; they're dark as fuck,
Mhm.
and I felt they were looking at me
Yeah.
because they were following my car. They knew we didn't belong there. They
Mm.
knew we weren't part of what anything was going
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
They knew damn well they're like this is somebody who's not supposed to be
Not
here.
invited.
Yeah, not
Yeah, yeah.
invited. Plus, they have a little Caca Honda Civic. They're over there with Rolls Royce
Okay,
and
for
shit. Yeah,
real. Fancy ass cars.
with fancy ass cars, of course, like a little piece of shit Honda, like driving through. And she's holding on to me, and she starts crying. Once that guy looks at me, because I call it, I'm like, hey, yo, this dude's looking at us. Starts crying. She's like, I want to go home. I want to go home. I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
I'm scared shitless too. I'm not even like I'm not showing
Right.
it, but even I was like, what the fuck
Crazy
is
shit.
going on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they're just staring at us through the animal mask just as we drive by. And you know the movie like Eyes Wide Shut?
No, I haven't seen it.
So it's kind of like the satanic cult stuff like it.
Okay.
That's the best way I could describe it of the ball scene where the guy's sitting in the middle and everyone's just not showing their faces. And I remember I was just like, what the fuck is this, dude? Like,
That's
this is
crazy.
so weird.
But like the street wasn't blocked off or anything.
No.
It was just normal. So anybody can pass by.
I think anybody can pass by, but I think it's kind of like not to pass by there because there was nobody walking around. There was no
Yeah,
other
yeah, yeah.
cars. It was just us driving through. And I remember I had my headlights on, and I was just like, oh, let me park by this tree, let's see
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
happens, just to fuck around, and just be a little dick.
Yeah.
And she started crying, like I'm telling you, she was crying.
Yeah.
She didn't want to look. And I was like, you know what? I'm not that big of a dick. Let me just take off before someone comes up to our car,
And it can get worse for sure.
it can get worse. So I took off fast, turned my headlights on. I got the fuck out of there. I turned my GPS. I left, and I made sure nobody was following us because I'm not sure it was a satanic cult, but weird shit like that. And it's in
weird.
Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like, weird shit always happens like that.
Yeah.
And like, even I told my grandma this story, and she's had like a similar run in where she was walking back then in the 60s, 50s. She's walking around all Hollywood back then where she used to work.
Mm-hmm.
She walked in front of this house, and there was a giant statue of the devil. Obviously, I'm not gonna do the sign, but he's obviously doing that signature peace sign, and then one hand out.
Mm-hmm.
He had one leg of a chicken and then one leg of a goat, and he had the goat head and the man of a body in front of their house, just a huge one, and they had the pentagram in the middle.
That's crazy.
And I'm just like, dude, like, I'm pretty sure I ran into
something like that,
some kind of occult shit that I wasn't even supposed to run into.
Right. And do you remember where it was at? I mean, not for you to say it right here on camera, but like, do you remember where it was?
That's the thing that's weird. Like, I really don't. I don't want
like
to.
You blocked, right?
It's like my mind blocked it out. Like, I remember very bits and pieces of the street. I can like picture how it looked.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you what street it was.
Mm-hmm.
I very little remember how to get there. But my thing is, it's like I am not going back there.
Oh, for sure, because you don't want there to be a second time.
I don't want to run no second time, and there's gonna be no second time.
Yeah,
they're gonna drag me in and do some
weird ass shit.
Weird ass shit. They might sacrifice me and I don't know, some shit, drink my blood or
bro.
I had shit like that.
Who told me? Somebody told me, and I started looking into it. Somebody had told me that that there's like higher ups, like government people and like all kinds of people that get into like this cult situation, like in the woods, in the middle of nowhere. But like, it's kind of like a guest list. Like they have certain people can only go in, and that they sacrifice like babies and stuff like that. Like I have heard that before, and I tried like this was a while back. I remember going on YouTube and finding like a lot of videos.
There's a lot of documentaries on
there. And they don't allow like cameras in there. Like this person was on YouTube, right, and they were like showing the video, and they were kind of like walking right to like where the place, and you just see fancy ass cars like showing up, and that's what they would show, like the fancy cars. And then when they would try to get close, they'd be like, no, you guys can't even come in here, like that. So then like before they even got to the event, like there was people, like you said, just keeping guard, and those people didn't allow whoever was recording to go any further. But I was thinking to myself, like, damn, this shit exists. Like it really does,
It does.
And it's scary to happen, like how you said, like just the fact that you were not intentionally trying to go to this place, it just happened.
It just happened.
Like that, I would be scared as fuck.
It was scary. Like I think that's been one of the most creepiest run-ins I've ever had, because it's like in a situation like that, anything can really happen.
Right.
They can make me disappear like that, and
nobody would know.
Nobody would know.
It's like, oh, where is he at? Oh, I don't know.
He went out.
Yeah, last I know, he went out.
You know what happened to him? They didn't know I went through West Hollywood. They can make my location disappear where I went to last, because they don't want nobody knowing. So it's scary shit like that.
Oh no, you crazy, bro. Okay, so that was the most recent one that you said, right? That had happened to you, bro. So then after that, like, did you even talk to the girl anymore?
She stopped talking to me
because of that.
I'm pretty sure. Probably thought like I had some involvement with it or some shit like that.
Oh, she thought you did it on purpose. Probably.
That's what I think, but if I had the same situation with her, I'd be like, fuck you, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Anymore. Dude, that's fucking scary. I'm trying to think, like, if I was in that situation, what would I do? I don't know. I don't know.
It's hard. Like, I didn't even know what to do, to be honest. I was scared shitless.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to get scared.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a situation like that where even I'm scared, I'm just like, dude, like, this is not right. We don't belong here. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you turn into a wrong neighborhood.
Yeah.
And if it's gang related and you don't belong there, you're kind of like, okay, I don't belong
like,
here.
I should get up out of here.
I should get out of here.
Damn, dude, that's crazy. So what's like the scariest thing that has happened to your mom? Because you said she's like similar to you, or if not more.
Uh, I'd say this probably one of the stories that sticks out to me the most is like when she was pregnant with my older brother. She would see a spirit of a nun that was just very naked, kind of like the nun, like literally like
Okay.
that, and it would smack her in her sleep. It would punch her stomach
Oh,
when
shit.
with my older brother, and it would hit her. It would traumatize her. I wouldn't say necessarily kill the baby, but damage it
But
or
more
some
or
shit like
less,
that.
yeah.
More or less like that. There's some stuff that's kind of personal what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going too much, but she was sleeping at my grandma's side of the house, and this thing was like walking back and forth to the windows, cussing her out in Spanish, telling her like "fuck you,
The
fuck
same
you."
thing as your grandma.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would tell her "fuck you, fuck your baby," constantly
That's
just
crazy,
vulgar and
bro.
vulgar. My mom got tired of it. That she got up from my grandma's bed and that she literally told this thing, "Get the fuck away from me. Get the fuck away from my baby. Stay
Yeah.
away from my family. That's it. I'm done. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is my child. I'm not gonna have you harm it." And from there on, it just disappeared.
That's crazy. So, like, she was able to, in a sense, communicate, like, it understood.
And like
Uh,
just tell it to fuck off.
bro. Are you afraid, like, for your kids to have the same thing? Because it almost seems like it's from
Pass down.
generation. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, no.
No.
Just because like I think I will talk about it with them, explain it to them and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
just make sure
And
they
let them
always,
know. Let them know too. Like,
if
like,
anything,
there's like you could communicate with me and let me know if anything weird goes on. Because it could be like also when kids experience stuff like that, they don't know
what's going
how
on.
to tell their parents, or like, what if my dad doesn't believe me or something like that. So maybe you explaining it to, because you said you experienced since 5 you experience weird stuff, so I can't imagine how a 5-year-old would even communicate that to their parents, like.
I didn't know how to tell my parents.
Right.
I would go running, crying to my mom.
Yeah.
You know, she has a lot of stories of me as a kid, like of me telling her things that I would see and experience.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it's my brain like cutting off
Yeah, all those
memories,
memories, yeah.
memories. And she tells me stories. Do you remember this? Do you remember that happened to you? And I'm like, what's weird is it's like a lot of my childhood I really do not remember.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is just blank. The
Yeah.
farthest I could go back to is like 6th grade. Other
That's
than that, like
crazy.
I very remember little bits and pieces
Yeah, yeah.
of my childhood.
It's funny, me too. Loki, now that you say that, me too. Like, I don't know if our brain just does that to maybe to protect her, like protect yourself or something. I don't know. That's
It,
kind of weird. Because my sister, she can remember, like she has such a good memory. I'm like, how the fuck?
yeah, it's just like
So it's
I
kind of
don't
like, I don't
remember
know
this,
why my
man.
brain doesn't have those same memories. You know,
I think it just goes into survival mode and
it cuts off
it
all
cuts
the
it off.
excess. Like, okay, you don't need to remember that type of shit. Dude, that's crazy. That is fucking crazy. Well, fuck. I was not expecting him to come up with all these crazy stories.
That's not
You told me you had some, but I didn't think it. And if that's not it, that's
that's not even it. There's
crazy.
still
A lot more
a
shit.
lot more that I've got.
That is fucking crazy. Well, we're gonna have to bring him on for a part 2, guys, because that's some scary shit. Plus, I didn't tell you this, but typically when I go through talk about any scary stuff or stuff like that, I can't go to sleep. So we'll see about tonight. I'll send you a message if I can't fucking sleep. But either way, thank you so much for joining me today in
Thank you
this
for having
episode.
me here.
I'm gonna bring him for another episode, guys, for a part 2, because if you guys like spooky shit, then you're gonna want to hear his stories. But we'll catch up with you guys next week. Bye.